Hello, it's Leslie Fightmaster, and welcome to day 6 of our 30 days of yoga. So I have a blanket today plus 2 blocks. So if you have those, get those available. So I'm showing you now little rounding of the back. If you have a little bit of rounding of the back, the lower back, and it's hard to sit up tall, sit on the edge of a blanket. That will help to lengthen your spine. So I'm going to try and sit in Sukhasana. This is where the shins are crossed, sometimes known as crisscross applesauce if you have little ones. So you want to line up your ankles under the knees. And then from there, just find your sitting bones, whatever's connected to the blanket or the floor, and begin to lengthen away from there, as if there is a string attached to the crown of the head, and it is being pulled gently, of course, gently, toward the ceiling. The chest will lift, and the shoulder blades will draw down toward the waist. And now today, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take a moment to set an intention for your practice. An intention is anything you want it to be. Maybe your intention today is to really focus on your breath or be present, or maybe you want to send out some good energy to someone. As you inhale, we're going to sweep the arms out, around, and up. Make sure the ribs don't pop out. Interlace the fingers and then turn your palms to face up. Arms and ears are in line, but you can have your arms in front of the ears. And exhale, turn to the left. So inhale to lengthen, and exhale will twist. And then back to center on the inhale. Release the arms on the exhale. And again, sweep the arms up, interlace, other pinky in front. Exhale, turn the palms to face the ceiling. Take an inhale to lengthen the spine. As you exhale, start to turn to your right. Inhale to create length. Exhale, turning, moving the rib cage, using your internal muscles to twist you. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release. You might find it's easier to twist in one direction more than the other. Now switch the cross of the legs. We'll inhale again, sweeping the arms up, making sure the ribs stay in. Bring your right hand to your left knee and your left hand behind your back. Lengthen as you inhale. Exhale and turn and twist, turning to look over the left shoulder, rolling the left shoulder back. Now you can use your arms a little bit to deepen your twist, but always start with your internal muscles. Bring the head back to center. And other side, sweep the arms up on the inhale. On the exhale, left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Lengthen the spine, inhaling. Exhale, roll the right shoulder back and turn the head in that direction. So we use our arms a little bit. We never want to use our arms to crank deeply into a twist, just to help. Inhale, head to center. Exhale to unwind. And then you can move the blanket out of the way if you have it there. And we'll roll forward. Right onto the hands and knees. On the inhale, chest comes forward, lift the chin and tailbone up. Exhale, round the back chin toward chest, pulling the ribs and belly. Again, inhale, bring the chest through, widening the collarbones. Exhale, round the back, tuck the tailbone, our old friend cat and cow. Inhale, bringing the chest forward, lift the chin and tailbone, drop the belly. And then exhale, pull the belly in, pull the ribs in, press away from the floor, let your head drop. Inhale, come to neutral. Now we're going to step the right foot all the way up by the hands. Your left knee might need some padding, so if you need to pad it up, do. And then come on up. The right knee is over the ankle, but the right hip needs to pull back a little. Rest the hands on the leg. Keep the right hip pulling back. Then inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, you might sink a little forward, you might not, but make sure that the knee does not go past the ankle. The right hip is pulling back, the left hip is drawing forward a little bit. Spin the triceps forward. Now make sure the ribs are in. Don't let the ribs pop out like they like to. And then lengthen the lower back. Arms by ears or not so far. Let's bring the hands back down, and now we'll straighten the front leg. So this is where the blocks will come in handy today. Hands on blocks will help to give me some space so that I can fold over my front leg. The right hip will continue to pull back. And then bend the knees again, bend the front knee again, and then back to table. And we'll switch. It's bringing the left foot. So if it doesn't make it up there, you can just pick up that left leg and move it there. Make sure the knees over the ankle, bring the hands up, resting the hands there and pulling the left hip back, sending the right hip forward. Make sure you're not arching too much in the lower back. So ribs in, tailbone down. Then reach up through the arms, spinning the triceps forward, stretching up, maybe sinking the hips a little bit forward if you can. Keep pulling the left hip back, draw the front ribs in, and create length through the spine. And then hands down on the blocks. Now, if you don't have blocks, you could also rest your hands on your leg if your hands don't reach the floor. Folding over the straight front leg, you're on your heel. Toes will point up on that left foot. Pull the left hip back. Rebend it, return to your knees. Move the blocks out of the way if they're there. And move the blanket if it's there. Make your way into extended child's pose, Utthita Balasana. Extend the arms. Remember, hips don't have to all the way back to the heels, just as far as they can. So I'm going to turn and spread out the fingers, press the palms onto the floor. Turn the inner elbows forward as you come up into down dog with the knees bent. And then start to reach the right heel down, keep the left knee bent, and switch. Left heel down, right knee bent. And then just bicycle the legs, bending one knee and the other at your own pace. Remember to check in with your breath. Now today we'll take the legs as wide as the mat. With the legs wider, you might be able to stretch back your heels toward the floor a little bit more. Just play with that and see how it is. Make sure you're pulling the ribs in and the belly. Arms and ears are in line. Now feet back to hips width. Looking forward, we'll step the feet all the way to the hands. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Remember, hands don't have to touch the floor by any means. Inhale, press through the feet. Sweep the arms up, looking up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Steady balance, finding Tadasana here. Outer edges of the feet parallel, firm the legs. Inner thighs are spinning back, chest is lifted. And widen the collarbones. Keep the belly drawing in. Inhale, sweep the arms out, around, and up. Watch for that back arch and ribs to pop out. So tailbone down, ribs in. Exhale, folding forward, hinge from the hips. Keep the spine long, bend the knees as needed. Inhale, halfway up, hands to shins or above the knees. Exhale, folding in, bending the knees as needed. And press through the feet with a long spine. Sweep the arms up, looking up. And exhale, hands to the chest. Again, inhale, sweep the arms out, around, and up. Let the shoulder blades relax a little. Exhale, fold forward. Keep the belly lifted as you go forward to keep the spine long. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, step all the way back into down dog. Arms are shoulders distance, the feet hips width. Spin the inner thighs back. And remember, knees can be bent. As you inhale, come forward into plank, top of a push-up. Knees can be down or up, but make sure your belly's lifted. Exhale, back into down dog. Look forward, step your feet all the way to the hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Hips over heels if the legs are straight. Press through the feet, rise up on the inhale. Samastitihi, exhaling. Tadasana again. I'm going to do a little balance. But first, grab a block and put it between your inner thighs. We did this the other day. And then reach your arms forward. So this is plank pose. Okay, we're not on our hands, of course, but just this is how the body is. The belly's pulling in, tailbone's reaching to heels. So notice that we're not arching the back. We're not like hips aren't coming forward and hips aren't sticking back either. But so neither of that or that. But we have a neutral pelvis. So we're going to try and keep that in plank pose. So you'll imagine you have that block. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward with a long spine. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen. Now bend the knees, plant the palms. We're going to step to plank, top of a push-up. Shoulders are over the wrists. So remember, knees can come down at any time. Lift the backs of the knees up if they're off the floor, but don't let the hips go down, don't let the hips go up. Hips and shoulders about in the same line. Press up between the shoulder blades. Widen the upper back a little, but bring the chest forward. Exhale, downward dog, lift the hips. As you inhale, we'll lift the right leg back and up from the inner thigh. So instead of letting the hip open, drop the outer hip down. Well, that's level hips. Look forward. We're going to step it all the way through by the right hand. It may not make it. If it doesn't, makes it halfway, pick it up and step it forward. Stay on the ball of your back foot. Blocks, or hands on the blocks if you have blocks, or you can rest your hands on your front leg. Then reach your right arm up for a little twist, but pull the right hip back. So we want to keep the hips level. And then we'll release that and step the right foot all the way back to plank. From here, I'm going to hold it and then shift back to down dog. Now remember, arms and ears in line. Left leg up. Don't let the hip open today. Sometimes we do it, but a lot of times if we just want to practice level hips, it's better for the lower back. Then look forward. And if it doesn't make it there, when you step it up, just pick it up and put it forward. Knee over ankle. Hands on blocks, or you can rest your hands on your thigh. Pull the left hip back. Now, if you do have blocks, you'll add the twist. Right hand down, left arm up. Otherwise, you could hold your right hand on your left leg. Release. And then back to plank. Top of a push-up. Knees can be down, remember. Or up. And then lift the hips, coming to down dog. Good. Press the weight up to the hips, down to the heels. Arms and ears are in line. Pull the ribs and belly in. Then look up and step your feet to your hands. Take an inhale, look up to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Press down to rise up on the inhale. Samastitihi as you exhale. Turn to the long side of the mat and step your feet out nice and wide. About as, if you could roll those really long fingers, they'd be right touching your ankles. If you have a block, bring it to the center. Point your toes in toward each other just a little. Then inhale, open up the chest. Exhale, hinge from the hips to come forward. So notice the spine is long. We're not rounding the back. Hands on block. Inhale, lengthen. Or if your hands reach the floor, you can have your hands on the floor. Then you're going to have your left hand right below your forehead and reach the right arm up for a twist. Try and keep your hips level. So drop your right hip down a little. Now you could take it deeper if you have the flexibility, left hand to right foot, or just moving a little bit or grabbing that foot. Whatever works. Just remember, create length and then twist. Then back to center, lengthen again on the inhale. The right hand will stay down under the forehead and left arm lifts. And then as you inhale, create length. Exhale, if you want to go deeper, you can take that right hand over to the left foot or over to the floor, wherever you would like. Inhale creates length, exhale twists. And then back to center. Now create some length here on your inhale. Walk your feet in a little so you're stable. Grab your hip bones and come all the way up with a long spine. So take a breath here. We're going to keep the feet as they are, pointed in a little. Firm the legs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. This is called Prasarita Padottanasana A. Lengthen as you inhale. Try and keep your spine as long as you can on the exhale. Crown of the head eventually reaches toward the floor. If you have a block, you may be able to rest it on the block. Maybe you won't. It doesn't really matter. Again, never matters how deep. But make sure you try to lengthen the spine instead of rounding, thinking you got to get your head down. That's not important. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to hips. Come on up as you inhale. Step or hop together and back to the front of the mat. As you inhale, sweep the arms out, around, and up. Ribs in. Exhale, fold forward. Keep those ribs in and the belly lifted. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, step back into plank pose, top of a push-up. Chest forward, tailbone toward heels. Pull the belly in a lot. This time, let's take the knees to the floor. Shift forward a little bit, hug your elbows in and lower all the way down. Try to touch everything down at once. Inhale, cobra, peel the chest up. Hands are by the low ribs, toes point straight back. You can come up higher if it's okay on your back, and then come back to the knees, tuck the toes, downward dog. Stretching back, arms and ears in line, and then I'm going to come through and sit. And then on to the back. And hug your knees into your chest. And gently rock yourself side to side. Your low back, a little massage. Now we'll take happy baby, pinky toe sides of the feet, draw the knees in toward the armpits. Remember, if you can't reach your feet, hold on to the legs, like that. You can also rock gently side to side if that feels good. And then I'll take your arms to a T and drop the knees off to the left. Turn your head to look right unless it bothers the neck. And then center on the inhale. Exhale, knees to the right and look over the left shoulder. And then back to center. We'll make our way into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So let the feet flop open. Arms by your sides, palms up. If you've got a blanket handy, you can always rest your head on a blanket if that feels comfortable. And especially if your chin's higher than your forehead, then it's good to rest your head. Or I'm sorry, your forehead's higher than your chin. No, wait, chin higher than forehead. So anyway, relax, Shavasana, rest. I'll be back in a moment. Today's quote is also from the Bhagavad Gita, another quote about yoga. Yoga is deliverance from contact with pain and sorrow. Yoga is deliverance from contact with pain and sorrow. Start to make movements in your fingers and your toes. Stretch out through your arms and your legs. And now bend your knees, roll yourself off to your right side and pause a moment for gratitude. Think of something you're grateful for today. And then let's press up to seated. Sitting on the edge of the blanket if you wish. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. Hands to our forehead, reminding us to have clear and loving thoughts. And hands to heart center, reminding us to have clear and loving intentions. And the hands to our mouth, reminding us to have clear and loving communications. Let's send out positive energy to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe. So we have these yoga classes because it is our belief, my husband and I work together, we believe that the more people practicing yoga, the better the world will be. So help us spread the word and share the videos, leave us comments. If you'd like to support us financially, you can donate. There's a link below or go to fightmasteryoga.com. There's a donate button there. Also an Amazon banner. If you shop at Amazon, it doesn't cost you any more to go through it. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.